Perfect. Thank you, Robert. Very happy to see you. So, can you briefly, for the worldwide audience that we do represent also, present yourself?
Yeah.
I'm talking that you are a disruptive guy, but present yourself.
Yeah. Well, I go around the world with my camera, and I interview startups and innovators and people who build technology. And I look for technology that's going to change the world.
Perfect. So
I do that for Rackspace, the world's largest hosting company. I worked at Microsoft. I've been a blogger for 10 years.
So it's binding the technology watch that you are doing with the real life. So with who is doing what and so on. Like I want to put a keyword which is the disruptive.
Yep.
Can you extend a little more about that word? Do you think it's the good word to use?
I like it. You know, when you're trying to build a brand that's world changing, that's what you're trying to do is, you know, try to get people to stop doing what they're doing and do something else, right? Or start doing something that they didn't even think they would want to do, like carrying around cameras or, you know, playing with your hands on a video game or something like that, right? That's disrupts the world. I like that word.
You are, I would say, a road runner. So you, as you told us, you discover things all across the world.
Yeah.
My question is the following. Do you think that the only place in the world to succeed is only the valley?
No.
Can you go on?
No, but.
No, but yeah.
No, but.
Yeah, perfect.
You know, there's plenty of companies that have started outside the valley that have been successful. Skype.
One of the famous European example, of course.
Yeah. Groupon.
Yeah.
You know, there's other companies that started in Israel, stuff like that. So you don't need to start here to be successful, but it is like swimming upstream. It's harder. It's easier to do a big worldwide company here. And it's easier for 3 reasons. Access to capital. It's hard to find capital around the world that invents in disruptive startup technology companies, right? It's not easy to find it. In fact, in the world, you only find it in a few places. Here, New York, Tel Aviv, Beijing, London, Moscow.
The new kings, those who got some money to invest.
Yeah, you know, and not many other places. It's hard to find money if you're not in one of those 6 or 8 places in the world, right?
First point.
The second part is talent. If you need to build a company that's going to have a 1,000-node Hadoop cluster, people who built that are here. And there's not very many other places in the world that people have built.
Do you think that engineers and smart nerds and good brains must be all here?
Not all here, but mostly here. Okay. Experienced people. People who built Google and Yahoo and Facebook and Twitter. People who built those kinds of systems. Those companies are here. They're not anywhere else. And so if you need somebody like that, you gotta hire them away from here, and that's tough. And the third thing is PR. The world's PR world. I mean, look, you're at the Google I/O conference. That's here because everybody comes here and everybody is here. So getting PR is easier if you're here. If you're not able to come here, it's really tough to get a worldwide message out. You can do it, but it's harder. It takes more work and more skill and more talent. And if you have that talent, you might as well be here anyways, because then you can even make it bigger, right? If you're Tiger Woods, you want to play in the latest, the biggest golf tournament. You don't want to play in some you know, amateur course, right? Take that. Then also there's the network that happens here, you know, and you can hear what...
The sharing mind.
There's just so much culture here about technology and entrepreneurialism, and you sit down at the Starbucks, you just hear people starting companies around you, and it sort of rubs off on you, you know, it makes you excited, and also you're around people who understand what you're trying to do, and understand what a mobile social app is, where if you're in London, people understand that, but if you're in other parts of the world, they're like, what? You know, what? How many apps do you have on your iPhone? You know, you only have 2 iPhones?
You have more percentage of chance of being on the street and asking about, do you know that? And they will say, yes, of course, than the other ones. Just to close this point, do you see worldwide maybe one area, one city where it could be, I will not it will replace the valley, but it could be a new starting line? Maybe in Asia, because there are a lot of smart people in Asia. I don't know. one of the places that could be the mother of
Shanghai.
Shanghai?
China.
Shanghai.
China is, when you're there, you see the opportunity, you see the rapid growth. I mean, they build like crazy there. It's not like anything else in the world. And the number of people, they have 1 billion people, they kick out more engineers and more smart people, and they have the capital. And they have I think the center of the world is moving from the United States to China. And
okay, so you say moving, so which means that when you say Shanghai, it's not only for Chinese. It might be people like, you know, in the valley there are many culture, many nationalities. So the Shanghai could be also many nationalities in the future.
Could be. That's a tough one because they still have that control of government that is retarding their ability to build worldwide brands and be the real center. They also have a tough time coming up with different ideas because of their culture, but that's shifting very quickly. I mean, in 10 years I've seen a huge shift. So if you take this 20, 30 years out, I'm scared for the United States. I'm going to ask. I'm interviewing Obama's CIO, on Wednesday, and that's going to be my point. It's like, how are we going to keep the idea that America is the innovation leader?
I heard that they cut the bridge with Asia.
I don't know.
That's a rumor.
Yeah.
To conclude.
It's a tough thing to do business with China, and that's maybe the saving grace because the government is so controlling and is so protectionist and not very fair to intellectual property. Those are problems in China that China, if they solve them, they're going to be a world player for sure. Yeah. They're already a world player. I mean, they own Lenovo, and there's car companies coming out of there. There's all sorts of companies that are going to start spinning out of there, and they have a lot of smart people and a lot of opportunity.
Just to conclude our really exciting discussions, what do you? Let give me 3 major trends, very interesting major trends that you see in the market. That could be
mobile.
we know the mobile one. So other ones, or maybe specific application, specific service on mobile.
Well,
what do you think?
Mobile is still, more people next year are going to get smartphones than own them. I mean, you saw their Google is signing up 400,000 new smartphone users a day. A day. So mobile.
That's the access. On mobile, what could be disruptive then? Because mobile is the access, and the fact that you can do it by yourself. But inside the mobile then?
No, the coolest apps now are things, like I was at a park, which is where basically they invented the Macintosh. And they're building a new networking system, not a replacement for the internet, that can do things when the phones get close to each other. Can start sharing data.
Internet of Things.
Sort of like Color. The Color is a pretty advanced app, but take that even further. What could we do if it knew that phones were getting closer, and could we study, like, are we really friends, or are we just passing in the street? Are we actually talking here for a while? Like in China years ago, where
you are a lady, I'm a man, or vice versa, you are man of my life. You know what I mean?
Yep. My phone has been next to yours for almost an hour, right? It should know by now, hey, there's something going on here. And are we taking pictures of each other? Is somebody else taking a picture of us? Are friends of ours also hanging out here? There's a lot of signals that aren't being studied that could be a trend, and that's the bleeding edge. That's where really interesting stuff is. Color is a good example of that. Color actually studies which direction the camera took a picture, so it knows it took a picture of you, not her, right? And that's pretty interesting. But TV at home is changing quite a bit. People are connecting that. I have my iPad already, and I click a video on a TED app, and I say, well,
and you move it up, you push it over your TV.
You click another button using AirPlay to play it on your Apple TV on your big screen, right? That's pretty cool. That's a trend that's happening. What else is happening that's interesting? iPad. I told Loic that he should call Le Web the year of the iPad, right? Yeah. And somebody said,
and so we get sponsored by Loic to get all an iPad because to make the advertisement of Apple. Let's talk to him about that. I'm having a meeting with his company tomorrow.
Very cool.
So Robert,
Thanks.
thank you so much, and I have just to conclude with, stay as you are.
All right, thanks.
Stay as you are.
Thanks. I am myself. I can't change.
Or
I'm having
maybe
a good
try
time.
to find the way to clone yourself to make people becoming like you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
And especially sharing.
Well, that's the nice thing about the internet. We can all, the geeks can find each other now. You know, we're
So
30 years.
we don't need an app.
That the Google solved that problem for us, right? We can search for each other. But thank you.
Thank you, my dear.